Witness the emergence of a revolutionary automotive idea, Dodge Caravan. It was widely imitated like 30 years ago. Dodge Caravan. One vehicle that could take the place of an economy car, a sporty car, a station wagon, and a van.
If it wasn't sitting in my garage with a thrown rod waiting for an engine swap.
What the heck?
My name is Chris, and I'm turning this 1989 Dodge Caravan into my daily driver. Welcome to Team Hesh.
So if you haven't been following the story on Instagram, I'll catch you up real quick. So I'm kind of a sucker for deals on Marketplace, and I picked up this 1989 Dodge Caravan on Facebook Marketplace for cheap. But without going to look at it first. The owner told me it had a bad oil leak, and I saw a video of it running. When I got it here, I even drove it off the trailer and into my garage. Now I'm telling you, it had good power. Like stepping on the gas felt good. Just what I thought was some top-end noise.
No.
The plan was to replace cam seals, crank seal, oil pan seal, and send it. When I finally dropped the oil pan, I found a connecting rod and parts of a piston in there.
Wait.
Hey, it was running when I got it, my bad, whatever. Now I want to drive this thing because I think it's cool, and this is honestly a great opportunity to learn a few things and try some car repair stuff I've never done before. So it is time for an engine swap. Does it look goofy or good?
Nope, it looks good.
All right, so the plan is to take the bad engine out of the Caravan and strip all the good parts off it that we want to use. Then, take a used engine from a recycling yard and take all the parts off it that we don't need. Take everything we got in pile A from the bad engine and everything we got in pile B from the recycled engine, smash them together, recite some ancient dark incantations, and hopefully make one solid running, not cursed engine. And then drop that thing back into the Caravan. Simple, right? Now, I definitely have to put some thought into the transmission in this minivan because I know it's a weak point. I got tons of comments on Instagram about that. But that's for another video. I got more than enough time to figure that out while I got the engine out, so we'll come back to that.
So I started by finding a matching used engine from a recycling yard and picking that up. Got it right here.
Whoa!
Yeah, it's pretty gross looking, and I know it's not locked up, but there are some tests I gotta do before I know if it's a good candidate for the swap. I really only plan on using the long block, so I'll probably pick up a borescope to check out cylinder walls and whatever else I can see inside. Now, checking the shop manual I picked up on eBay, the whole engine removal process is laid out super clearly. And a lot of these steps are already done, because I had a lot of accessories and stuff already pulled off for the cam and crank seals. So in the interest of staying organized, which I love to do, I'm going to start by copying out the steps I know I still need to do and making a list. It's a lot less steps than the whole thing, so pretty quick. Alright, diving in. First thing I gotta do here is remove the hood. I need to do this to get clearance to lift the engine out. So I marked where the hinges mount to the hood for easy reinstall later. Getting a hood lined up without doing this is a pain. So I'm a lucky guy that my girl doesn't mind lending me a hand because lifting the hood off is definitely a two-person job. And I'm not trying to scratch the paint or anything. Alright, hood removed.
That was easy.
Then I got it up on jack stand so I could disconnect anything I gotta get underneath to disconnect. Started with the exhaust, super easy, just one connection there. Yeah, this thing is gonna need a muffler, no surprise though. Then I marked where the flex plate mounts to the torque converter so I can line it back up on install. Next up is flex plate to torque converter bolts. Looks like there's 4 of them. I had to rotate the engine at the crank pulley a few times to expose all the bolts, but once I had access, they came out really easy. After that, I disconnected vacuum hoses and a bunch of filthy wiring connectors that were kind of fighting me. It was definitely a pain in the butt, but I got them.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, I'll replace that. And then the hoses go into the heater core. Again, old dry hoses are always a pain, but I got them, and I'm going to take them off and clean them later. Now, before I can disconnect the engine from the transmission, I got to support the transmission so it doesn't sag. So I went and grabbed the floor jack, and I got it all lined up perfect, right where I needed it. Got it right into the perfect spot before I thought about it for a minute, realized this was a stupid idea and I could just use a jack stand, so I pulled the floor jack out and went to get a jack stand instead. Yeah, fits perfect, much easier. I need that space to work. Next, I gotta remove the engine to transmission bolts, starting with that sucker tucked right above the drive shaft. Yeah, I got at it with an extension on the impact, and it came out easy. Alright, hell yeah. Now I can get off the floor and work down from the top. Next is the 4 engine to transmission bolts on the top of the transmission. Alright, I just want you guys to see where these bolts are before I take them out. There's one right there, you can see it. Yep, there's one. And I got a couple others. You won't really be able to see it because it's under the exhaust, but they're coming out. Hard to see, but yeah, they came out easy. There we go, buddy. Hello. Crack 'em. Yeah, I'll just say, if you're not talking to yourself, you're probably not doing it right. Alright, next is going to be the engine mounts. So I got to support the engine before I can remove those. I got to get an air-powered shop crane or something. This takes forever. I set up the shop crane with hooks because this engine already has 2 spots for hooks. Yeah, it makes it nice and easy. Ow! Smashed my head into the shop crane right on schedule. Ow! Burn! I'm recording this audio on a different day, but that spot on my head definitely still hurts. Ow, my head. My head hurts! Yeah, safety first, guys. Okay. So once I got this set up, I'll put some light tension in the chains. And that'll keep the engine from moving when I pull the engine mounts. With the engine supported by the shop crane, I'll pull this front engine mount next. And with the last engine to transmission bolt removed, they are no longer fixed to each other, which is pretty cool. Next is this side engine mount. Gotta mark it for easy reinstall later, just like the hood. There's actually 3 engine mounts under here, but 1 mounts to the transmission, so I only need to remove the 2 to free up the engine. I should probably get a smaller impact. This thing is huge. So I'll pull part of the engine mount out of the way here to free up some room. Now I can pull the engine away from the transmission. With that engine mount out of the way, you can see the engine start to wiggle around a little bit. Yeah, that means it's free and hanging from the chains. Big win. Now we just gotta go up and out. Easy, right? Yeah, it's a tight fit, so slow and steady. Everything does clear, but next time I'll remove the oil dipstick tube to get even more clearance. That'll definitely help when I'm installing the engine. Alright, it's out. Now I think I'm going to set this thing down on its own oil pan and keep it on a dolly so I can push it around easy like the other engine. Ultimately, I'm going to get this and the other engine on engine stands for teardown, but like this is good for now. So strap it down and get it out of the way. Engine removed. Victory.
Okay, that's good.
Checking out the empty engine bay, I now have great access to power steering, brake lines, AC stuff, all the wiring. So I'll be double checking everything I have access to with the engine out.
Excellent!
You know, while I'm in here, it always gets you.
So now with the engine out, I can focus on tearing both engines down to make sure that I got a solid core to build on. So this is my first serious attempt at YouTube. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear some feedback on what I could do better. I'm really making a serious effort to learn all the tools here, so you can expect more regular uploads as I get better at this whole thing. I'm also posting a lot of content on Instagram, so if you're interested in short form and day-to-day stuff, definitely check me out there. Coming up, I'll be working on my 1990 Econoline van, doing some boring maintenance work, and getting back to some unfinished small engine projects. So subscribe and hit that bell if you want to come along for the ride. All right, guys, thanks for checking in. See ya.